Good morning, I'm Callum Rodia, and Sudbury.com is live here from the Sudbury Arena, where this morning Dario Zulich is holding a press conference. Now, Zulich has become something of a local celebrity here in Sudbury since his high-profile purchase of the Sudbury Wolves and his True North Strong complex. And there is speculation that this morning he will announce that he is adding yet another sports team to his growing collection. Sudbury.com hasn't been able to confirm all of the details, so let's take you inside to the press conference for this announcement. Stay with us.
You can put this under here, and then you can like set it up there. So I'll just put this up for you. I'll set that up. Hello.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm David Magley.
Hi, David. Sorry, my hands are freezing.
Oh, it's good.
I walked here.
I'm too warm. Good to see you. How are you? Hi guys. Nice to see
We're
you.
from CBC.
Oh, good.
I'm just gonna set this up here.
David, you ready? Yeah. Okay. Hey, Andrew.
Good. I'm just gonna get that in there. Aha. Okay. Sweet. Great. Uh-oh. Will it stay? There you go. Awesome. Okay, and I'm gonna press record here. Okay. All right, so if you want to grab a seat.
All right. Well, it's gotten really quiet. That's excellent. This is exciting. It's 10:31, so I'm only a minute behind. Thanks very much for coming. This is it's an exciting day, and I'm ecstatic to be here today to see a crowd like this, the interest. This is just a wonderful, good news story today. So my name is Andrew Dale. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Development with the Sudbury Wolves. And for the last 3 years, I've been working on a project with Dario Zulich and our partner Perry DeLise out on the Kingsway. And for the last 6 or 8 months, we've been working real hard with the Sudbury Wolves. And most recently, as recent as last week, welcoming in the Sudbury Spartans into the family. But today we're here to talk about something new and exciting. The Wolves and the Spartans are iconic institutions in the greater Sudbury landscape, but this next chapter is something new and exciting that's going to be great for our community. So I'm just going to take you through a little bit of history and introduce David Magley, the Commissioner of the NBL, who's going to introduce Dario. And then I'll come back for to manage a few frequently asked questions, maybe some questions from the floor, and that's it. So we'll have a little video up here in a second. Before I get going, for 3 years, 3 years ago, I reached out to the NBL, didn't hear back. It was a previous commissioner, a different tone, and 2 years ago I reached out, and this wonderful gentleman got back to me, and a relationship started and bloomed, and that was David Magley. He's visited the site, he's visited the city, and it's just an exciting time. In the room today, we have the Deputy Mayor, Al Sizer. Thanks for being here. We have representatives from the United Way and Wolves United. Thanks for being here. We have arena staff. We have the Sudbury Wolves staff from the sales and marketing department to the hockey operations. We have members of the Sudbury Spartans, and of course we have the media. And it's always exciting to see the enthusiasm. We have people from school boards, we have corporate sponsors, and we have genuine interest in doing something great in this community. So without further ado, I certainly appreciate everybody's time. We'll probably be about 20 minutes, and then there'll be lots of time for questions and answers. So I'd just like to call up David Magley, and as I do so, I'm going to step over there. I would just like to introduce what the MBL is by video.
Applause.
ESPN presents college basketball, 81-82.
Wait a second.
From Charlotte Coliseum in
Sorry, technical difficulty. Hang on just a
The
second.
Jayhawks of Kansas face the team that's elected to be #1 in the nation, the Tar Heels of North Carolina.
My junior year at Kansas, we beat North Carolina at a neutral site in Kansas City in Sudbury Arena. That same year, we would go on to lose in the Sweet 16, and Carolina would lose in the national championship game to Indiana and Isaiah Thomas and that great team.
Players from both teams. And here's number 35, that is David Bagley, a forward out of South Bend, Indiana.
That guy. Turn lights on. Turn lights on.
I know what you all think. I must have ate that guy. It's about, my wife looks exactly like the day we met, and really, this is what she's had to deal with for 30 years. We are going to show you the preliminary video to our season is called The Pursuit. It's about a less than a 2-minute video, and let you get a look at it, and you'll get a feel for the level of play. I mean, what's important for you all to understand is that this is professional basketball. It's not junior basketball. It's not youth basketball. This is professional basketball. Not unlike the NBA, but we don't have quite can't afford the 7-footers running up and down the court. So it's actually a faster game, and I'll let you take a quick look at The Pursuit. That was taken at an exhibition game against the Raptors 905 team, which is an NBA D-League team that won the Raptors National NBA's D-League championship this year. Our team was ahead going into the fourth quarter. Ended up losing the game, but it shows you about the level of what our league is. You know, right there, just underneath them. And I think if they didn't have their NBA players, we probably would have been a little bit closer because they move guys up and down because that's kind of like the AHL is. Let me give you just a quick update on who we are, and I'm going to assume none of you have a clue what the NBL candidate is. So if I'm talking very specific, you got to understand. You know, basketball was invented by a Canadian, as I'm certain you all know, Dr. Naismith. invented it in Springfield, Massachusetts. He's actually a Canadian minister, and he took the game to Kansas, which is where I went to school, so we always have to claim Dr. Naismith. He's the only losing coach in our school's history, which is a true story. He's actually buried in Lawrence, where the school is. But it has rich roots because of that, because it's always been something that people claim. The basketball in Canada is the fastest growing sport that you have. It's a larger participation sport than any other sport, larger than hockey. I mean, there's the economics that have to do with hockey, and it's not more popular. It's just a larger participation sport. What that means is that it's becoming a very popular sport playing-wise all over the world, and specifically in Canada. There's more Division I, NCAA Division I players that come out of the greater Toronto area than out of New York City. There's more NBA players from Canada than any other country in the world outside of the United States. Only in Toronto are there 10,000 people outside the venue watching a game on a jumbotron when their game's being played in another market. The other 30 markets aren't like that in the NBA, just in Toronto. So you recognize passion for sport, the growth of the sport. It's a participation sport. And our venues, our league has grown significantly. We started with 7 teams. Today we'll be announcing our 11th team. 6 years ago, we've had tremendous success, tremendous growth. We've grown from about 1,300 to 1,400 fans a game to over 2,000 fans a game. Our London Lightning franchise will outdraw any team in North America that's not in the NBA and professional basketball. That includes the NBA D-League. That includes major marketing arms like MLSE that owns the Raptors 905, still will not outdraw the London Lightning. Now, I know you're familiar with the London Knights. You guys have competed with them a little bit. I was actually at the game when you guys went in overtime this year, which was pretty remarkable. But it began as a concept, right? It began 6 years ago as Canada was the only major basketball country that didn't have its own league. So they started this league, 7 teams that started. And we've grown, when you think about where we're at today with now 10 teams, we have 5 teams in Ontario, 5 teams in the Maritimes. The 5 teams in Ontario are Windsor, London, Niagara Falls, which is in St. Catharines, Kitchener-Waterloo, Orangeville, and then in the east it's St. John, not St. John's, but St. John, but St. John soon, St. John, Moncton, Charlottetown, PEI, Sydney, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and Halifax. So it's a really interesting, eclectic mix of markets. Some markets as small as 30,000, some markets as large as 500,000-600,000. All of them are prospering, and all of them are doing real well. When you look at where we can go, there's 52 major junior hockey markets in this country. We need less than half the fan base that they do to break even and be profitable. So it's not a big stretch to go, in our existing footprint, we can put another 3 or 4 teams in Atlantic Canada. We can put 2 or 3 teams in Quebec. We can put 3 or 4 more teams in Ontario. But then we can go out west, and there's probably another 15 to 16 teams that are waiting for us out there. We had our first franchise this year that came in Vancouver, and we just opted to say, let's not right now. We want to make certain we can develop a division for you. Because the way the economics work is we have to have the ability to travel back and forth. We can't fly one team from Vancouver all over and really make it viable for them. So we're going to build a conference around them. Look at those hands. I'd still be playing if those hands weren't eating so much. So that's you can see where we're going to. The other important thing for you to recognize is that a major part of our marketing is community. We want to be in your schools. We want to be, when we walk in your schools, we look different than anyone else in your school. We're probably a different shade of color that we're used to, 6'9", and they're going to go, that's the pro basketball player. And why is he in my school? And then we can deliver messages. We can deliver messaging about cyberbullying or anti-bullying or anti-drugs or staying in school. And that's really the secret to our success, is we've become part of the fiber in these communities. When you go down to London, people talk about the London Lightning all the time because they're so active in the community. We're active in supporting anti-women abuse. We'll have a purple night that all of our teams will wear purple uniforms that day, raising awareness for that. The good news is our uniforms don't cost quite as much, so we can have different nights all the time. We have breast cancer nights. We have armed services nights where our guys wear camo. We have all these different things that we're able to raise funds, raise awareness, and do things in the community and become part of the fiber. And that's a big part of it, and that's what we think we can be for Sudbury. Our fan mix is unique. We're not going to steal from the Wolves. You'll see about 30% of your fans that will get excited when the glass comes down and they can get closer and they can see the guys' faces because they're not wearing masks and headgear. And they're big guys running up and down the court and they go, gosh, this is pretty cool. They're going to love the dunks. And those people will probably watch both. But there's probably 60 to 70% of our fan base don't even come into this arena today. They're going to be basketball people that just get thrilled by it. It's a different game than when you go to watch University. Dario came down to watch the game and was like, well, how is this going to be different than Laurentian, which is one of the best universities for basketball in all of Canada? There you go. I thought it was a dance break or something. And it's different because we play NBA rules. It's different because we have, we'll have up to 8 Americans on a team, which means it's a very, very fast game. You'll see guys that played at North Carolina, guys that played at Duke, guys that played at Kansas, which are always another dance break. Guys that played at Kansas, which are always my favorite players. You'll see one team starts 3 guys from Michigan State. So it's a really high level of basketball that you're going to watch going up and down the court every day. We have to ask ourselves, why Sudbury? Or why Greater Sudbury, right? I mean, it's interesting for me as I go around to the other people, and those of you in this room may not be aware of this, but to the rest of Canada, you could be in the great Northwest. You could be, you're like Americans are looking at Canadians on dog sleds, because people down in Southern Ontario, they have no clue how close you are. They're like, the other owners, well, where are we going to have to spend the night there? You got to get a hotel. It's 3 hours from Toronto. I mean, because of the new highways and the way it's growth, I don't think that most of Ontario recognizes what this greater Sudbury area is. And I think that as we bring 5 teams and then the teams from over there and teams from all over the country, you're going to see this starting to shrink a little bit. Not that that's desirable because traffic comes and all that comes with it, but I think there's this wonderful, great kept secret in Ontario, which is Greater Sudbury, and I think that's exciting for us. It's exciting. Again, Laurentian University with Coach George and Coach Hurley's done a great job of building local basketball here, and then you do a good job drawing fans today. We're excited about the vision that Dario has for True North Strong and being part of the sports and entertainment capital of really what is the capital of Northern Ontario and Greater Sudbury, and we're excited to be a part of that. But we're also very excited to be a part of partnering with a guy like Andrew, who is dogged about working this thing. I mean, very, very, very impressed by how bright he is and how hard he's worked to bring this together and creative. And yesterday this was a room where we were sitting around talking and we were eating a ham sandwich. And today it's a media center. And Andrew put this together by himself, and he just works really, really hard. He's a very bright young man, and he's a wonderful ally for your Chamber of Commerce, because he's told me everything about the value of the lakes to everything else around here. And it makes it exciting to have somebody that gets that vision. And then the other big piece for us is Dario. To have an owner of your league that has the vision that he has is important, because he owns the league. Every one of our owners owns their percentage of the league. So he'll own 1/11 of the league and hopefully 1/12 if I do a very good job before the month's up. And to have a guy that's tying it to the OHL, that's tying it to other venues and other sports and other things like that, takes our league up another level. We get excited by that. For us, with Dario and the Wolves, you think about it, we're in 10 venues today. 9 of them we share with OHL teams. All of them we're the second tenant. This is the first time we will be owned by an OHL owner. By coincidence, we become the primary tenant. So there's economies of scale. There's sales forces that can be used both ways. We're not competing. If we say we'd really love to do a family day and it's $40 and we're going to throw in popcorn and a couple of sodas and do this, we can do that. In our other venues, it's hard to do because we don't own the concessions. We don't have that flexibility. So we have an opportunity to partner with somebody that really takes us to another level and may be the model of where we're going to go. Maybe when we go west, there's how many teams in the WHL? Don't answer, because I believe it if you say 20. There's 22 teams in the WHL. But there's a lot of markets out there that we could partner with as this proves success. There's Barrie that we skip over to get here. Boy, we'd sure love to meet those folks. Well, you know, with this relationship, we have a chance to get there. So this is a big deal. This is a big day for our league. Not just expansion, but expansion into this market with these people, and the opportunity we have is huge. So on behalf, and the wonderful tradition that the Wolves have with it is exciting. So on behalf of our owner, of our president, Vito Fergia, who's the owner of the London Lightning and runs an incredible franchise, and our other 9 owners that are going to be business partners with you real soon, our ownership groups, you know, we want to welcome the greater Sudbury area and Dario and his group to the NBL Canada. Dario. Is that how you wrote that?
That was unbelievable. How can you not get excited listening to Dave? And before I start, Dave, I'm going to tell you, I haven't told you yet, but you know, I love you, man. And so, he makes me feel so confident and so excited and so proud. And so I am proud and excited to announce that our group, the SW Sports Entertainment, has purchased the franchise team for the National Basketball League of Canada. Our group can now deliver amateur sports via the Sudbury Wolves, semi-pro sports via the Sudbury Spartans, and now professional sports via the Sudbury. Well, we got to pick that name yet, Andrew, right? We still have to choose the name, but we can deliver pro sports now to Sudbury. I'm so proud of that. You know, sports is an amazing thing. Nothing can bring people together than like sports can. Think of the Olympics. Olympics can bring countries together vying for their team, and that could be also at the provincial level and at the city level, right? Bringing people all together. But there are some cities without local teams, right? And in those cities, the fans can become fragmented. And I know I have a lot of friends, some of them in this room, that are, you know, devout and diehard Chicago Blackhawk fans, right? Or Boston Bruin fans, or like myself, Montreal Canadiens fans. Fans can become fragmented. But in Sudbury, I'm not sure if you find too many Sault Ste. Marie Greyhound fans, or if you find too many Oakville Longhorn fans, right? And that's because we are Wolves, and we are Spartans, and we're going to have a new pro basketball team here in Sudbury. Our group's end game is to entertain the people of Greater Sudbury, to bring people together and to cheer. By simply putting a few teams together, we can now cheer year-round. And when we cheer year-round in Sudbury, it's going to increase our morale, and it will strengthen our spirit. And that attitude will become contagious. Sudbury has a lot to cheer for. We are an amazing city, and we are, like Dave said, the capital of Northern Ontario. We are the hub of Northeastern Ontario in areas such as commerce and education and medical and tourism. And I'm hoping that soon we'll also become the hub for sports and entertainment for Northeastern Ontario. And not by building a single building, but by clustering together common elements in sports and entertainment to create a new sports and entertainment district, a new regional destination, a new industry in Sudbury with an economic life of its own. So I believe that we are on the verge of making Greater Sudbury yet greater. And I want to thank everyone for coming out today and sharing in our excitement. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dario. Thanks everybody for being here. There's a few questions, and I have up on the monitor right now our temporary Facebook page. So you can see in the backdrop we created a 705basketball.com, and so for our friends in Sault Ste. Marie who run an amateur club called 705 Basketball. We're not invading. We're just here temporarily, and hopefully maybe you give us a call and we find out about what you guys are doing for basketball and grassroots in Sault Ste. Marie. Like we say, this is about bringing basketball and Northern Ontario together. I have a few frequently asked questions, but we do have a few social media accounts. There's not a lot of followers yet, so go ahead and follow. But a couple questions that Dave didn't touch on. When does the season run? The season runs kind of mid-December through now. They're in the postseason, and we were lucky enough to have the commissioner up today because I think he's back on the road tonight for a playoff game, and it was just a day and a half in between playoff games. So they're in the first round. It's a 40-game schedule, so there's 20 home games, 20 road games, and 2 rounds of playoffs. Three rounds of playoffs. So the season could end for the lucky champions mid-June, right before camp season. Just throwing that out there. So we talked a little bit about the details. There will be details forthcoming. There are access. We do have a domain that will direct interested parties for volunteering or sponsorship or tickets and all that sort of stuff. That'll all be there. We are hoping that we can start as soon as next year. That certainly would be the play, and it would be an opportunity in this building and a really exciting thing for this organization. Of course, there's steps to get through, and whether or not we start at Christmas or we start the following Christmas, that is yet to be determined, but it'll be determined before the schedule comes out, and that's sort of end of spring, early summer when the league pulls together its schedule. So if there's any interested questions, or we'll take a few questions from the floor, and we're looking for Frederick.
Is it going to be 705 basketball? Or
No. We don't have a name of the team yet, so we will launch a program to include the community to help name that team. We'll do that in the next little while to pull something together, maybe get some kids involved in the school boards, look throughout Northern Ontario for inspiration, and it'll be a big fun contest. Maybe we'll get some coloring going at this new Sudbury Centre and have a whole fun exhibition. Maybe we'll get Jordan Kilgannon down, do some dunks, and have some fun there, because we've got a lot of rich basketball roots in this community, and we're pretty excited about it. So yet to be determined, the name 705 Basketball just represented what this is, basketball in Northern Ontario.
Is it like an expansion draft? Because it's a new team coming in. Do you take players that exist in the league already?
No, we don't. The interesting thing is, it really is remarkable how much talent is out there. Yeah. I will host, last year I hosted 20 combines, tryout events around North America. We had over 1,000 guys try out for our league. It's just amazing how much talent there is to pull from. We do have combines, draft combines, where guys come up and we draft out of them, and you'll have the first draft pick of that event. But there's a lot of experienced veterans that want to come home. Home is anyone from North America. They speak English. We're not far from home. I can be home on an airplane ride. So I'm a big believer that you probably need to fill your Canadian spots first before you fill your American spots, because there's just not quite as many. So you want to go out, and that's quite frankly the best place to spend your money. Go out and find really talented Canadians, because they're equally as good. We don't put any marking on our uniforms to tell you who the Canadians are versus the Americans, because we think that's disrespectful to the Canadians. They're every bit as good. You'll see multiple teams that start more Canadians than Americans. You'll see multiple teams that have as many Canadians as Americans on the team. But we don't want to ever minimize the quality of our product by saying you have to have X amount, and then we go down in quality. So where we're at is we have a four Canadian rule with 8 Americans, and there's just so many guys that want to come play in this league. It's crazy.
How does that compare to other European leagues?
So that's a great question. Most of the world's leagues allow 3 imports. So when we're competing for Canadian talent, we're not just competing for Canadian talent amongst ourselves. They're amongst the best in the world, like the Americans are, and we compete with other countries. they typically only allow 2 or 3 players. So you'll have, like when I played in Belgium, there were 10 Belgians and me and a big guy. I was, again, as you can see, I wasn't quite this big. So there was a 6'10" guy and me, and then 10 Belgian guys. Well, 2 or 3 were maybe at the same level we were. We were expected to dominate the game, and we touched the ball every time down the court. It's not like that here. Because we have so many imports, it's a fast game. All of our players from 1 through 12 can play. So it makes it much more like watching an NBA game, because the talent level is really spread out amongst the whole team.
How does the salary, what's the average wages of the players, and do you have a cap like in hockey or?
Yeah, so our salary cap is $150,000 for a 4-month season. So guys are gonna make, it's $37,500 a month, the average wage is $3,250. I just did that in my head, you're looking right now, like I see you trying to do that, you did your eyes like that, which means you're counting, I can tell. And we, how can somebody survive on $3,000, especially Americans, $3,250 Canadian is like $12 American. Trust me, I know that, that's what I'm paying. But they provide housing, you provide places where we're gonna be eating. We're gonna be eating at a lot of restaurants, because again, a lot of people want our guys there, so we bring them over to here. So we have per diem when we travel, and it's an opportunity. Some of the other countries pay, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. You can make what you make in a whole year in 1 month in a different country. But you need film, you need opportunity, you need to play in a good league to get there. I mean, our success stories are guys that wanted to play in the D League. Guys, we have a guy right now that plays in our league that was the 14th pick of the NBA draft. Race White, a lottery pick. He's here getting his game ready to go back to the NBA. We have other guys that go from here and they go play in Europe and they make a lot of money. To me, that's as good an accomplishment as winning a championship. Because you can look at these young men and you've impacted their lives and opportunity. So we're kind of a dreamers league. These guys are coming for a chance to get to a better place, and they get excited by it. A lot of people stay here a long time though, because you fall in love with it and you start figuring out how you can make extra money, and before you know it, you go, I want to be a greater Sudbury for the rest of my career. And you'll have guys that play 4, 5, and 6 years ago.
Just comment. I really appreciate that the community is, the effect that this has on the community is significant. And I'm here on behalf of Wolves United. And if we change one kid's life because of sport, a new sport, a better sport package for our community, today we're really worth it. So I just want to thank you for recognizing that.
Thank you.
There is a whole underbelly of the community that nobody likes to talk about, and it's those kids. Like, we can change your life with one ball, and one hand, and one net, what we've done.
Well, and it's not even if they become great players, but if
Doesn't
through
matter.
this,
Job
they want to
done.
hear your message and you're heard.
Yeah.
We have a fan that we heard about who had cancer in London. Joey's his name, and incredible kid, 5, 6 years old, and during the cancer treatments, his mom had a heart attack and died. Dad left with 3 kids and Joey. Vito, it breaks his heart. Vito was just devastated. Finds out about it, sends the kids to go to Joey's school and meet Joey. Teacher says, this is who Joey is. Today, Joey's cancer-free. Today, Joey is Flashlight. So the London Lightning's mascot is Flash. He wears a unitard, and he does all these crazy flips. Things that if I did it once, I'm in traction. It's amazing. But they have a mini version now, it's Flashlight and it's Joey. And it's #JoeyStrong. And the whole community just puts so much loving on that family that you go, how cool is that? We get to be a part of something and touching somebody's life. And that really is important. Because you know what, this goes away. Now, I played in the NBA. I'll tell you the truth, I played for the Cleveland Cavaliers when they were called the Cleveland Cadavers, to be played like stiff. My brother called me up, long distance collectors on the Brothers Kennedy, and said, David, we're 4-48. Is that the worst record in the history of the NBA? And I said, yeah, Bill, I think it is. And he said, they just cut you. Would that make you the worst player in history? At least I got that going for me. But I can tell you, it's fleeting. All that goes away. And at some point, we owe it to our young men to be deeper than just fans cheering their name and all that. Because it really is. These are just, to your point, these are just vehicles for us to try to touch lives. And if we do this the right way, we're going to be a great member of the community and you're going to love us. That's why we have to pick great kids. Character is important. I'm putting you into school. You can't be drunk driving, you can't be doing drugs, you can't be doing women the wrong way. There's really important, moral codes that we have to hold our guys to, because it's too important, because we're holding them up as role models.
Did I say 11?
You can see the fit between the values that Dave instills for the NBA, the NBL Canada, and the basketball league in general. They fit closely with Dario's vision of greater Sudbury sports and entertainment, sort of industry, but also the values the organization brings to the Wolves, the organization brings to the Spartans in terms of how we want to conduct ourselves and the kind of community we want to be. So it's a really exciting day. I thank everybody for coming. I don't want to keep you. We will be available for other media questions, and feel free to grab some refreshments in the back. There's coffee and tea, and thanks everybody for taking.